powers combined, I am
the realist Theo with a coach interview. So Sam, do you like Pokemon?
I do.
Hello everyone, Theo here, and we are back. We are back with our my third coach interview for the VBA Season 2. And today we are joined by WakemanVGC, coach of the Great Lakes Grimmsnarls, aka Sam number 2, Sam version 2. And thank you, Sam, for joining me today.
Yeah, man, thanks for having me. I'm excited for this.
Yeah, absolutely. I think what we'll do is we'll kind of just jump to it. This is not your first draft league. We know that from the coach introduction video, but it is your first time competing in this particular league, the VBA. What has your experience been like so far?
I mean, I really like it's the VBA is like for me it's like a weird combination of like really competitive and really not, because I've seen like a lot of quote unquote jank sets that are like actually like probably optimal sets, but it's like I've seen a lot more unusual stuff than in other leagues, but also the competition level is still really high. Like it's not like people are like running special Marowak because it's better or because they don't know, like things like that. But like that's been really cool for me, and it's also just really well run. Like I like the team sheet submission rule.
Yeah, thank you. I'm glad you're enjoying it. Do you want me to redact the special Marowak thing just in case you give Sasori any ideas with his Alolan Marowak?
I think they can stay in because I play against him, so if he brings special Marowak against me, I'm okay.
Sounds good. So like I mentioned, you have been a part of other draft leagues. So are the other draft leagues, do you find them more like kind of straightforward as far as the builds go, more I guess easier to prep for in a lot of cases?
Yeah, I mean, like the first league I ever did was Pokemon Battle Kingdom. It's like a Facebook group, and I've done 2 seasons with them now. I got second in the first one, and I just got out of the second season, I think at 4th. Yeah, because I lost in semis, so 3rd or 4th or whatever. Mm-hmm. But and that one, the sets are pretty straightforward. It's easier to prep in that league than it is in this league. It also helps that like almost everyone records their matches in this league. You can see team sheets, so you can like really get in someone's head, especially if you're battling them late season. Like you can watch 6 of their videos and like really get a feel for them. I'm in another one right now, the restricted Pokemon draft league, where it's like you're required to take a restricted and a mythical. Mm-hmm. So like that one's a little hard to prep for, because like this week I go against Keldeo, and I've never played against Keldeo before. So it's like also restricteds can't max, so that always brings like a new layer of like, what is this Palkia gonna do if it can't max?
Interesting.
So that by nature of that league, like just the theme of it, it's different. But I'd say like the crazy sets I've seen in this league definitely were definitely harder to prep for.
Yeah, I hope you're enjoying the crazy sets too. Yeah, I think
it's great.
Something that's interesting, what I found, is that a lot of the new guys, including you this season that came in, you guys drafted really, really well, in my opinion. But I also think a part of that is because everyone else drafted really wonky. Because that's the returning coaches just draft really wonky, so we weren't really going for things that people usually go for, which kind of allowed you guys to really get these really OP looking teams. I mean, your team is super scary. You got that Gmax Cinderace, the Clefairy, the Spectrare. You have the Braviary, Liepard. Liepard, by the way, is so freaking good in draft. Any prankster user is just so good. I'm surprised no one's picked up Purloin. Is that the other one? Purloin? The unevolved one? Yeah,
that's a really good tier 4 pick.
Oh yeah, for sure.
It's like budget Cottony.
Mm-hmm.
Which, I mean, is pretty good.
Cottony's pretty good. I think Toast would disagree, or Curry would disagree, but that's okay. He's not in this interview right now. So your record is currently 3-1 with a +2 differential. Were you expecting yourself to be in this position after 4 games? Were you expecting better, worse? What were your thoughts coming in?
I felt really good about my team going into it, and I mean, my first match, well, I didn't know what to expect because every time, I mean, when you enter a new league, you never 100% know what to expect. And in week 1, the 5th leaf brought weakness policy Umbreon with vacuum wave Kartana, like, and it just like, I don't know, I don't know if you saw that game, but like I got obliterated game 1. Like he just absolutely wiped the floor with me. Because I mean, it's like you're never expecting that. So
Right.
like, game 1, you're not going to lead to counter weakness policy Umbreon. I mean, I guess if you do, then that's good. But and then I mean, I'm not, by no means making excuses because I didn't play very well. But against Wolf week 2, I did have some very unfortunate RNG. Not making excuses because a loss is a loss, and I heard the other Sam say that in one of his videos, if you lost to RNG, you probably still didn't play well. And I agree. Like usually you put yourself in a position where you can lose to RNG. That's my take on it. But
that's interesting. Yeah.
And then I felt really good about my matches against well, I think I had a really, and I think Joe would agree, Krabby Shack, that I had a really favorable matchup that week. I was able to bring Scorching Sands Cinderace, which is always awesome.
The mixed Cinderace, yes.
No, that wasn't that week. That was against Sam number 1.
Oh, right.
He has like a bunch of ground weaknesses, so I was like, he has Pincurchin, he has Eaglelith, I'm gonna do this. And it worked.
It worked. It paid off. Spice paid off.
I was so happy. Yeah, I know. I clicked Max Quake into Pincurchin, and I was like, there's no way this KOs, but I just want to get it off. And I knew he was clicking Rising Voltage into me too, so I was like, might as well get the immunity. But then it killed, and I was like, okay.
That's smart. Yeah, I didn't even realize that the Libero ability would turn you immune, ground type immune to the Rising Voltage. Yeah, that's a really smart play. Yeah, I mean, you're doing really well. You're sitting in 6th place, but I mean, I believe you're tied for 5th actually. Right now in a pretty good spot to make playoffs. For those that don't know, it's a 10-game season, and in order to guarantee a spot in playoffs, you need at least 6. Once you get your 6th win, then you clinch a spot. But a lot of people with a 5-5 record still make it in, and sometimes with a 4-6 record, you can as well with a really good differential. So you're in a great spot to make playoffs, assuming that you continue your run here. Yeah, so we're 4 games in. Have you looked at your whole entire 10-game schedule and figured out who you're most scared to play against, or who you think your toughest matchup is against?
Yeah, I was looking the other day, and I mean, I know just from watching battles and from hearing you guys talk, I know like I play Rhett week 7 and Curry week 8, and I know they're gonna be tough. Well, actually, I play the Greedy Greninja's Sasori, I don't know if that's how you say it.
Yeah.
Week 6, Rhett week 7, Curry week 8, Senpai week 9.
That'll be fun.
I have a really, and Ryan the Melt and Nuts week 10, so I have a really stacked late season. But
yeah,
I mean, despite the fact that I know they're all really good players, I do think, I mean, I'm not gonna talk too much about it, but I do think I have a couple favorable matchups in there. I'll just say I think I have enough favorable matchups that if I win those favorable matchups, I'll get the 6 wins and clinch playoffs.
Okay, all right, you heard it here, folks.
That's all.
He's made the claim. Are you gonna name any teams that you think you have the favorable matchup in, or are we gonna leave it at that?
I do think I have a favorable matchup against Ryan's team, the Melton Nuts.
Okay.
With like the Lapras, Moltres, Metagross core.
Yep. Also a very OP looking
I think I have
team.
a favorable matchup there. Yeah, that one is scary. I think I have a slightly favorable matchup there, and The others I haven't looked at in a minute, so I couldn't tell you right now. But,
Okay. So, as far as the leaderboard goes, I mean, Gmax Cinderace is pretty high up there on the kill leaderboard, right? Gmax Cinderace
it's
is
at number 1.
Oh, it's at number 1. Oh. Who's right behind it?
But only by 1.
Heracross?
Heracross, Incin, and Pheromosa.
Gotcha.
After that.
All right. Wow. Would you consider Gmax Cinderace your favorite Pokemon on your team to use? Just because it, I mean, clearly has a lot of kills, or is there something else that you prefer?
I mean, like, I've definitely brought it. I think I've brought it more than anything else. Yeah, I've brought it 8 times. And you know, I mean, I honestly, like, I really expected my team to be more balanced in kills, and like, even going into this, I was like, my team has so many offensive threats, and I'm generally a hyper offense player, so like, that's why I liked this team. And going into this, I was like, I have so many like big offensive threats that like, I feel like they're gonna be like all relatively spread out, and I probably won't get the kill, like a kill leader or anything. You know, like between Cinderace and Spectrier and you know, maybe Golurk or whatever, like I expected to have more even spread than I do. But I mean, Cinderace has 13 kills, Spectrier has 3 right now, so
yeah, that's a big difference. Yeah.
So I mean, it's performing better than I expected. I mean, I know Cinderace is really good, and I wouldn't always necessarily love Cinderace if like Gmaxes weren't separate, because I think they're probably like better tier 1s. But as a Gmax, I think it's probably one of the best, and it's performing better than I expected it would.
Yeah, and I'm sure you've heard the curse of the Gmax Cinderace in the VBA League. I'm surprised. I think you might be able to break the curse this season. It's been 2 seasons in a row where, yeah, that Gmax Cinderace just could not make playoffs. So I think you might get it this season.
Yeah, hopefully. I was looking at the like overall stats from including last season for Cinderace, and they're not great. They're not. That's
shots fired. Best. Shots fired. You hear that? Audio. If you're watching this video, you heard it here.
I don't even know who the coach was, but I mean, my thing with Cinderace is like, it to me, he seems one-dimensional on the surface, but like once you get to a certain level of like selecting which moves you're gonna bring. And in case nobody noticed, I know a lot of like back when Cinderace was like super like everywhere on the ladder, nobody ran Protect because it was like, oh, we just need 4 coverage moves. Yeah. And I've been running Protect every week. Like I just think it's super valuable on Cinderace. And like, I don't know. I think it's probably just a difference in play style, because I like to think I'm good at using Cinderace because I'm more of a hyper offense player. So
yeah, I remember those times when they first released that Gmax Cinderace, and it was everywhere on ladder.
Cinderace and Rillaboom were just like, they were like 2% usage to like 40% usage.
Yeah, I think that was Series 5. It was not fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it was everywhere. And frankly, I think Cinderace is actually better in draft than on the ladder. That's just my opinion.
Yeah. I agree.
Fun little tidbit. I was actually, for season 3, my thought was if whoever has Gmax Cinderace this season, if they don't make playoffs, I was going to draft it next season and try to break the curse. But you might beat me to it.
Maybe, hopefully.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Cinderace is just such a versatile mon, and it's like, I mean, there was a very valid reason that nobody ran Protect on it, because it had such good coverage and it had so many different types that it wanted to change to. I remember like I almost never ran a fire move on Cinderace on the ladder.
Same.
But like, I mean, it just has so many moves, and like, but the nice thing is like in draft you can focus the move set down. Like, yeah, like if he has no dark weaknesses, I have no need for Sucker Punch, you know, versus like well, Dragapult is a thing on like half of ladder teams, so Sucker Punch is crucial for that. But he doesn't have Dragapult, so I don't really need Sucker Punch, you know.
Yeah.
So that's why I've been able to run Protect on everything.
I completely agree. That's why I think it's so good in draft, because you know who you're going up or what team you're going up against. Have any Pokemon that you've drafted this season surprised you, either positively or negatively? Either one.
So this is maybe just again, like hyper offense curse or whatever, but like I drafted Clefairy as a tier 1 and I've only brought it once so far. And it just died. So I mean, you know, to be fair, like I haven't had a ton of matchups where I like really needed Clefairy. I have a couple coming up, I think, but I mean, you know, because Clefairy is really good for like denying setup or like stuff like that, and I haven't really had many of those this season. Or if I did, like they didn't bring it. Like I brought it against Wolf because I knew he had the Blastoise Crustle combo, but he didn't bring Crustle, so I didn't bring Clefairy in the 4. But I mean, you know, you're always gonna have some Mon that doesn't get brought that much. And to me, like Clefairy is good enough that like just the threat of Clefairy being a possibility is enough to like make people not bring stuff. Because like who's gonna bring beat up against Clefairy? Like nobody. So
well, you're playing Rhett week 7, right, or something like that.
Well, I guess we'll find out who brings beat up against Clefairy. I mean, to be fair, it's not like it's useless. You can just kill Clefairy, but
yeah, right.
I don't know. I've always felt like, and watch me say this now, and then I'm gonna get absolutely smacked by him. But like, I've always felt that like beat up. I've never liked beat up combo in the back. Like, in my experience, it's always hard to position like both your Mons in if you have them both in the back. In my opinion, and you know, maybe Rhett makes it work, and I'm sure he will. But you know, Clefairy shuts down the lead potential.
Yeah, well, you heard it here, Rhett. Shots fired, directed to you from Sam V's version 2. You recently picked up Glaceon. What was your thought process for that? So
I actually picked up Glaceon in the restricted Pokemon Draft League. Their system it's a point system, so like every mon is worth a certain amount of points, and you have 125 or 120 points, or 125 I think it is, to draft a team of 11. So the first draft of my team in that league had Alolan Vulpix. For the sole purpose of, I had Sceptile, so I wanted to have something that could Ice Shard Sceptile. But then I made some drops. Like I had Lycanroc Midnight just because I needed a rock type, and I don't like Lycanroc at all. And his ability was basically because he has No Guard, so I was like, oh, No Guard Stone Edge, that's really cool. But I had Victini, and it boosts the allies' accuracy, so I was like, don't really need it. So I dropped that for Armaldo, which was a like 2-point difference, and I dropped Vulpix for Glaceon, and because it also gets Ice Shard. And I've only had it for 2 weeks, and it's already put in a lot of work in that league. Freeze Dry is one of the most broken moves in the game. Like,
so good.
Nobody can tell me otherwise. I had it just like adding that water weakness gives it so much more coverage. I ran a Scarf Glaceon set in my other league, it wasn't Scarf, sorry, it was Life Orb, and it literally hit like 7 of his mons super effective because of Freeze Dry. So I really like it, and it's bulky. It has base 130 special attack, which is like higher than most things, so I like it. Yeah. Also, Clang was doing nothing for me. I was under the impression that Clang also got Trick Room, but it doesn't.
Gotcha. So that makes sense.
Clang is useful.
All right.
Clang is awesome. I love Clang.
Clang, someone has that, I believe.
Hawk.
Hawk has it. Okay.
The Island Dragons.
Yep. Yeah.
He's been running some sick sets,
Yeah.
like shift gears and stuff.
Yeah. I mean, Klinklang is really good. It has its niche, and it can be run in a few different ways. But I understand why you got rid of Clang.
Yeah, he just, I don't know. And like, I never, like, he's bulky with Eviolite, but I have Clefairy. Just like, I can never run them on the same team. I also picked him because I wanted a steel type, but I have Cinderace. So
the best steel type in the game.
it's a steel type. Yeah, pretty much.
And yeah, freeze dry is so freaking good. The added water coverage, being super effective against water as an ice type, and also what's super broken about it is that it can freeze still. You still have a freeze chance. I mean, there's no downside to it.
Yeah, well, the thing, like, in my other league, I ran freeze dry against a Palkia, so it's 4 times. It goes from neutral to 4 times effective. So that was insane.
So enough about the VBA. Let's just going back to just Pokemon in general. I mean, you're a pretty young guy.
Yeah.
You just graduated high school. You know, I'm sure you probably just do you drive? You just recently got a car or anything like that?
I don't drive yet.
You don't drive yet. So, I mean, you're such a youngin'. What generation did you first play, out of curiosity?
I started with Gen 8.
Is that this gen?
So, yeah. It's been so many now, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you know, when I was a little kid, like, I never had a DS when I was a little kid. So I didn't get to play any of the old games. I was, you know, I collected Pokemon cards and I was still into Pokemon as a kid, but I never like played the mainline games. I did used to play a bunch of really bad Pokemon Flash games.
Oh yeah.
But
free Flash games.
Yeah, I started. Yeah, I got Sword and Shield for Christmas. The year it came out was that 2019, I think.
I think so.
And I played through the game, had a lot of fun playing through the game, and then, I don't know how I got started with like wanting to play competitively, but like I ended up spending a lot of time building a competitive team. I didn't know rental codes existed, so I don't know if you remember Wolfie's Duraludon, Dracovish, Whimsicott, Lucario team.
Oh yeah, the beat up Lucario, yeah.
Well, I made all those mons from scratch. Which at the time I didn't know how to do, so it took me like days. And before I knew Genning bots existed. But like, so I don't know. I say I started competitive in January of 2020, because that's when I like first started to make competitive teams. And I also like didn't realize that like VGC and Smogon were like different formats. So I was like, when I was like learning, I like had a bunch of Smogon sets on like VGC teams and stuff.
Yeah.
And I look back and I cringe. But it's like, I mean, it's just part of the learning curve. And
for sure.
But so I would play on ladder with Umbreon with Toxic and like stuff like that. But yeah, and I entered, and then I got like actually serious about it. And I started to watch more like content creators, and I think I joined my first draft league. I got inspired to look for one by the WBE that Wolfie and A Drive and a bunch of other guys did. That was really cool. Like me and my brother watched all of Wolfie's matches and all that. So that's how I like got introduced to Draft League. And then I joined my first Draft League, which was the Pokemon Battle Kingdom one, in I think like April or May. I don't remember.
Yeah. Did you only did you start with singles draft, or did you hop right straight into VGC draft?
No, it was VGC. At that point I had like played a good amount I had played a lot of VGC, and like a good amount of like Smogon and singles, like battle spot singles and stuff. And I kind of just naturally gravitated towards VGC. I don't know, the doubles, the lack of stall sets that irritate me, stuff like that. And I also like playing on cart better. So like I will never enter a showdown league because I just can't stand playing on showdown.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of showdown battles myself.
Yeah. I mean, like, I'll hop on and like test teams or like play random battles, but for like a tournament or a draft, I don't want to play it.
Yeah, understand.
And then I just gravitated towards doubles more, and then also probably because of like the content creators I watched were doubles players too.
Yeah, and just to show us the age difference, you mentioned earlier when you were a kid, you didn't have a DS to play the mainline games, and I'm thinking, a DS? I didn't have a Game Boy to play my mainline games.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah, that's wild to me.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I think it's great that you're young and that you got into VGC so recently. I think it's really cool that more people are getting into competitive Pokemon at this kind of late in the game, sort of in the series. But I mean, it's great to see. It's truly great to see.
Yeah, and I honestly, like, I was talking to one of my buddies about this a while ago, and it's like, I actually think the pandemic probably helped competitive Pokemon reach more people because like everything went online. So all of a sudden, if you can't drive to Canada for a regional, like you can just play an online tournament, Yeah. So I mean, because that's how I got involved in it, like, and I mean, I'm waiting for the time when I can go to my like first in-person event, but for now, and I don't even really, I was just in 3 draft leagues at once, and then now I'm in 2. So I don't really play like normal VGC anymore. I kind of only play draft.
Yeah. Yeah, I think some people do that transition.
Yeah.
Like I haven't done ladder in a long time, and
same.
I mean, I don't know. It's not as ladder isn't as exciting, but I still watch like Cybertron do ladder all the time.
Yeah.
But yeah, you watch. You mentioned Wolfie. You mentioned WBE, A Drive. Who else do you like to watch? Besides the realist Theo.
Well, I mean, when I first started, I didn't necessarily know, again, the difference, like the singles and doubles were like distinctly different things. Mm-hmm. Like I knew they were different formats, but I didn't know how distinctly different like the rules and play style and sets were. So I watched a lot of like Poke-Aim when I was first getting into it, because he made like, when Gen 8 came out, he like made a video on like every Gen 8 mon, like competitive sets for every Gen 8 mon. So that's where I got a lot of my VGC sets were from a Smogon video. But and I mean, like I sadly have to admit I watched some Verlicify in my time.
You heard it here, folks.
But not anymore. Not anymore.
I watched Poke-Aim as well. Back in the day. Yeah, Jaws himself.
Yeah, I watched, like, Verlicify is actually how I learned how to like competitively breed and stuff. Mm-hmm. But then I think after the second or third time he tried to like cancel Wolfie for cheating, I was like, no, I'm not gonna watch you anymore.
Yeah, understood. So I mean, aside from Pokemon, we know, or folks that have followed the videos, at least all the admin videos and whatnot, the coach introductions, they know you're big into music. You are going to university next year, or you're just taking the summer off and then
Yep.
to study jazz studies,
Yeah,
right?
this coming fall. Yeah, I'm going to Western Michigan University. And yeah, going to study jazz studies, saxophone.
Saxophone. And I know in some of your videos on YouTube, you have yourself playing the bari. Did you start with an alto out of curiosity, like most people?
Yeah, I started on alto in middle school, and then I started in 6th grade. And then freshman year, I moved from a really small charter school for middle school to a huge public school. Like my graduating class was like 640 people.
Wow.
So like I had a big high school. So it was like, you know, I went from a big fish in a little pond to a little fish in a big pond. And then, you know, I mean, there's older kids who are better than you. So then like, you know, you want to get better. And so I played alto freshman year in marching band and jazz band. And then my jazz band director asked me to play bari for freshman band because we had like a bazillion altos and no bari. So he asked me to play bari, and I said yes. And I definitely didn't regret it. I'll just put it that way.
What grade was this when you switched over?
That was freshman year, early on in freshman year.
Wow.
And then I formed a saxophone quartet with some buddies, and that gave me more opportunity to play bari. And then the next year I made the top jazz ensemble at my school, so that I was playing bari at that. And then things just kind of, yeah. I think playing bari gave me a lot of opportunity, and it also like helped me find my voice as a soloist better than on alto.
Awesome. So when you first started with the alto, did you start with everyone else playing hot cross buns? And then when you switched over to bari in freshman year, did you also play hot cross buns on the bari, or did you jump to anything more advanced right away? Was it an easy transition?
Well, I mean, yeah, I started with hot cross buns on alto, but I mean, like going from alto to bari is like, the fingering system is completely the same.
Right.
So like you don't have to like learn new notes. Like a B is a B. So like, you know, and it's reading the music is the same. It's in the same key. So I mean, like really the only adjustment I had to make was like finding the characteristic tone of it, you know, because each saxophone has like a characteristic tone that sets it apart from the others. Even though there's some people who just play them all the same. But and it just takes more air support.
Right.
It's bigger.
It's so much bigger. And I was gonna say, like, switching from alto is super I guess average in airflow, but I mean bari is massive. The amount of air capacity and airflow that's required, and I was thinking, wow, that's such a big shift, because usually it's pretty advanced to learn or shift to a bari sax. We didn't have a lot of, actually we only had one bari sax player in our high school, and just like yours, a whole slew of altos. I was an alto, so and we had one bari, mostly altos, and then no sopranos and no tenors either. Do you have experience with either of those?
I have played soprano like 3 times total, so I would not say I have experience on soprano. On tenor, I've played like 1 gig on tenor, and I borrowed like I have a tenor from my school right now that I've been practicing a lot. Like I was literally practicing it when you messaged me to get on the call. But you know, and I'm just trying to like become as versatile as I can, because it's not an easy world to make a living as a musician in. So
No,
I mean,
it's not.
being able to play all the saxophones, all the flute, all the clarinets, like really opens your horizons on what you can get hired for.
Yeah. Do you solely work with woodwinds, or do you ever go into something else like percussion?
I not really. You know, I mainly play saxophone.
Mm-hmm.
I have a very, very, very mediocre clarinet. I'm not great at it. I'm not great at it, but I can play the notes, and you know.
Well, that's what it is. It's just playing notes.
Yeah. And flute is a work in progress. It's a lot harder to transition to flute from saxophone than clarinet from saxophone, because it's a completely different like embouchure thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I haven't really messed with drums or like brass or at all.
You sing at all? We should.
Not great.
Do you want to show off? Oh, okay.
I'm good. I have been trying to sing more because it's really good for your ear to like learn how to sing like accurate pitch. And you know, I've been getting better and better at like singing an interval. Like if you tell me start on this note and sing me a fifth, like I can sometimes do that. So, you know, I've been working on it, and that stuff gets hammered really hard in university for music. But I've been trying to sing more. My voice isn't great, but I can usually hit the pitch. So, you know, I don't sound as bad as a lot of people, I guess.
So out of curiosity, are you familiar with Super Smash Brothers, like Super Smash Bros. Melee or Super Smash Bros. Ultimate? Do you follow either of those games or play them?
Yeah. I play Ultimate quite a bit. I used to play a lot more. But I've gone to a couple tournaments. My brother's really into Smash. Like I got him into it. He used to not like it because I used to beat him all the time. And then for some reason, I don't know when or why, but he decided one day like this isn't happening anymore, and he started to take it way serious. And it was actually just like, I think it was like the same time I started playing competitive Pokemon. So like my time spent on Smash went down drastically. And so he's way better than me now. But we play a lot. I don't really play online much because Switch Online is awful.
Yeah.
But I've gone to a couple tournaments with him. But I probably wouldn't go to tournaments on my own, but like it's fun to go with my brother, so.
Yeah. I was gonna ask you because at least in Melee, Super Smash Bros. Melee, there's so much intricate timing. It's found that it seems that people that know music tend to just naturally be good at Smash, or at least Melee. I could see it transitioning to Ultimate as well. Do you think there's any is that comparable to, say, being musically talented or knowing music in Pokemon at all, or not really?
I mean, you know, it's those skills of execution based game like Smash versus music. Like, there's a lot of similarities. I mean, obviously, like Smash doesn't really have anything to do with like how good your ear is or things like that, like your sense of pitch. But like, obviously that technical aspect and the hand-eye coordination and that kind of stuff, they go hand in hand. Pokemon, I mean, it's like there's enough evidence to suggest that like people who like play instruments, especially people who like take instrument and music in general seriously, like do better on standardized tests and stuff like that. So like, I mean, you know, Pokemon is basically 100%, like it's 99% like in the head. So I mean, like, I'm sure that's helped me.
1% roll of the dice,
you know, but yeah, I would say it's probably more 80% in the head, 20% roll of the dice.
Yeah,
but,
I think that's more accurate.
Yeah. But I mean, yeah, I wouldn't say it's like super comparable like music and Pokemon, but like, I don't know. I've always had like a very not so slightly obsessive personality. Like when I get into something, I get into something really hard until I absolutely lose interest, and then it just dies out. Which I've had my times where I kind of lost interest in Pokemon. Like, when I was there was a point where I was doing one draft league, and I wasn't really playing outside of that draft league, and it was just kind of like, eh. And I started to play a couple other games, which didn't stick. And then I joined a couple more leagues, this one in the restricted league, and that kind of thrust me back to it. And I've enjoyed being in multiple leagues just because it gives me I really enjoy the prepping process. Like, that's one of my favorite things about draft. Yeah. So it gives me 2 or 3 teams to prep a week.
Okay, cool. So typically what I've been trying to do is I try to end the interview, or I'm trying to end the interview by asking our interviewee, what do you have in the trunk of your car? But as you mentioned earlier, you don't drive, you don't have a car, so why don't we'll do something a little different this time around. So let's play a game. It's going to be a music-based game. What I'm going to do is I am going to send you a link to a song, just a little clip. All right, and I know you're a jazz guy. We've discussed this. These are going to be jazz clips, and I'm going to ask that you try to name what the song is, or name who's singing it. Actually, try to name both. Really get into it. But the thing is, the song might sound familiar to you, but it may not be the original artist, okay? Or the original musician, So let me send it to you, so don't get thrown off. If you get the song, that's big already. And if you get the actual musician, that's also really big. So I'll send you the first link. If you want to take a peek, take a listen.
Okay. Well, also, before I start this, that's how jazz is. There's no original artist for anything, basically.
Yeah.
Everyone just plays other people.
Yeah. The other thing is, before you start it, the thing with Smash is that people say if you watch someone play a Smash game, if you don't know who the player is, like if they haven't been introduced, a lot of times when you watch the actual character play, you can tell who the player is. So I'm hoping maybe that'll work here as well.
All right. So I don't think I know the song.
Okay.
The progression sounds very familiar. I am 99% sure I've played it at some point.
Okay.
But I want to say it's Miles Davis. I'm going to lock it in as unknown song, Miles Davis.
Ding, 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 ding. So the song is called So What, but it is Miles Davis. Very good. Very good. All right.
Yeah.
So
that's why that.
I'll give it to you.
It didn't stand out to me was because, yeah, I mean, in my defense, So What is literally one chord for 16 measures, and then it changes for 8, and then it goes back to the same chord again.
Yeah. Understood. So let's go to the second one. I'm impressed. That was good. So this one I think you'll have a much easier time with. It's a much shorter clip. Okay. Here you go.
John Coltrane, my favorite things.
Ding, 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 ding. That was about 2 seconds into the clip.
Yeah, I didn't even need to hear the saxophone come in to know that one.
All right, I have one more for you. Okay, this is the last one, and then
Alright.
we'll see how you do with this one. You ready?
Alright,
There you go. Last one.
Alright. That is Witch's Pit. Trevor Adams wrote it, but I believe that's Sam Wakeman performing it.
Ding, 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 ding. All right, well, that's 3 for 3. I thought I was going to throw you off with that last one.
You almost got me with that one.
All right, so Sam, that's it. That's our interview, man. Is there anything you want to say to the coaches or to the viewers before I let you hop off here?
Oh yeah, actually, there is one thing. Everyone who plays me from now on, so Hulk, Sasori, Rat, Curry, Senpai, and Ryan, I am bringing physical Gardevoir every week. That's all I'm gonna say. Make sure you ignore my Braviary and bring an Intimidate user for it. Okay?
All right. Well, you heard it here, folks. So Sam has revealed his plans for the rest of the season very kindly, and we'll just hop off here. Thank you, Sam, for joining me and talking. Have a good night.